Josh Farmer did indeed announce that he is headed to the transfer portal and did put his name this time around in it. So he is gone. And now we'll see what happens. Tom and I just got done talking about what it does beyond the disappointment and the initial frustration and the feeling that you lost the talent and you lost a ton of potential. He was going to be a vital part of the defensive rotation along the defensive front and the interior. He'd come a long way. He'd built up his body. He'd gained a bunch of weight. He'd gotten awfully strong. Just did an interview with him. What was it, 2 weeks ago that I did the interview with him? We've talked to him on numerous occasions. Very likable kid. I really don't see a good reason that he would leave, but until I get details as to what it was, I really can't issue a statement on that other than to say, like all Florida State fans, it's disappointing. But again, in an effort to certainly not be disingenuous and to be transparent, I can tell you I'm disappointed, but the reality is Florida State has benefited greatly through the transfer portal. Greatly. It has changed the fortunes of Mike Norvell and his staff. They have been able to succeed, have a 10-win season to the place where we can now be filled with expectation about what this next season will be, in large part because of the transfer portal and the caliber of players they were able to bring in to bolster the roster. And now it's come back to bite them in the ass, as it will everybody in the modern era of college football. So we'll now wait and see what happens as far as Florida State is concerned, because there is a counterpoint. Now you have some money perhaps freed up, as Tom and I were talking about last segment, money freed up to perhaps go pursue a replacement for Josh Farmer if you think it's necessary right now. It'll be interesting to see, even after this loss of Josh Farmer, is that the position they would go after? They have more money. They don't have to go after a defensive tackle. They could say, well, this frees us up in a way to attack another position of need that is a greater position of need. Even after Josh Farmer's left defensive tackle, you still have a ton of guys up front that you feel very, very good about. We'll see if Darrell Jackson leaves, but he's in a rock and a hard place if he wanted to. But the point would be, maybe you do address defensive end. Maybe you do address safety. Maybe you do address now in a greater way, a more impactful way. You pursue a higher profile player if he's available at linebacker. A more established player that would, quote unquote, cost you more. Now you might have the funds to do it. I don't know what the answer to that will be, but we'll find out soon enough, one would guess. I still think, again, that as you sit here today, the loss of Farmer, while not ideal and very frustrating, it's not an earth-shattering turn of events that limits your season. It's not going to be a situation, we don't think, as of right now. Of course, predicting injuries and the like is impossible to do. It's really a fool's errand. But what I would tell you is that is so long as the depth sits as it is now, you're still fine at defensive tackle. Still fine. But you're not fine at a couple of other places. So let's see what they do. I'm thinking that there'll be another name. I don't know who, but there'll be another name, Tom. We'll lose.
Come on, man.
No, we'll lose somebody else. We're going to lose somebody else. And again, I don't know this. Like, wink, wink, nod, nod. I tell you guys can usually read between the lines. Sometimes I'll just directly say it if I'm in a position to do so. Like, hey, this is going to happen. Hey, look for this. Hey, it wouldn't be surprising if this, I'll say things, I'll couch it and try to give you a heads up on these things. Most of you who are longtime listeners know that. I'll give you a little bit of that. What I'm saying is that it wouldn't be surprising to lose another name. I said that before we got any news about Josh Farmer, and it wasn't about Josh Farmer. It was just that, look, it seems like it's our time to lose a couple guys. We've done so well in the portal. We've been killing it. It's been a one-sided affair for us. It's been a situation where Florida State has benefited greatly. So today's a day where that's not true. Would love to know, and I'm sure we'll find out exactly what it was that led to all of this. I've talked about the situation where I thought it was 50-50, even after he said he intended to put his name in the portal. Today, it's no longer a question. And from what I had come to understand about that situation, I'm disappointed for the kid because I don't think it's going to be a beneficial move for him. We'll see. I mean, it's frustrating.
They're all out for their ass. But the good news is we can help you. We can help you. Our brand
This
is
isn't going to
strong.
kill. I'm not mad at Farmer. I wish he hadn't left. Two different things. Wish he hadn't left. I actually think probably pretty foolish move on his part as we sit here today. We'll see. Maybe I'll learn something that changes my mind, and I'll tell you. But it doesn't devastate Florida State. Florida State's still in a really good position to be much better than they were a year ago defensively up front. Much better. They're still in a really prime position. They should be very pleased. Like you said, maybe they'll use it to their advantage and that they have some extra funds to go out and maybe go get somebody. Maybe it happens.
Now, Braden Fisk becomes more important.
Yeah, he's got to play and play well.
And the waiver and the will of Daryl Jackson, both those things.
All those things become very, very, very important. Listen, if Daryl Jackson plays and he's motivated, he's a first-round caliber defensive tackle. He's that kind of player. He's unblockable if he's a motivated, focused, hardworking player. You want to pull him aside and say, well, guess what, man? You're going to get even more reps than you were going to get. And I got to be honest with you, man. I get it. Maybe you don't like college. I don't know that. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's not your cup of tea. Maybe that's why you're constantly transferring. You just hate the college thing, and you'd like to just go do what you should be able to do already. I agree. You should be able to go pro right now, but you can't. You got to do it after this year. So give me 7 months, pal. 7 months of focus and go dominate and get your money. You'll never have to worry about college again. Go do it. Whatever the pitch is, they got to get him locked in and focused.
Now, Dennis Briggs probably stays at home at defensive interior.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ayo Tafasi, you're much closer to your payday. Daniel Lyons, ditto.
Opportunities galore. Sure, everybody steps up a notch.
And they've got the talent to do it.
Oh, I love Tafasi. I've talked about that a lot. I feel like he's got a real potential to be a very good player. Just got to stay on that track and continuing to build and being focused. Jeff Cameron, Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.